Hello children. Do you know how young animals, plants, babies are produced? Let me tell you an amazing thing about young babies. The living organisms cannot survive for an indefinite period on earth. All living organisms can produce more of their kind or new individuals by the process of reproduction. Reproduction is the unfolding of life forms and helps in the continuity and survival of the species. I am Sai Pramari. Let us learn the topic of asexual and vegetative reproduction. From the lesson Reproduction of Class 10 Biology. Learning outcomes. After studying this topic, you will be knowing about asexual reproduction and methods, vegetative reproduction and methods. Keywords: fission, fragmentation, vegetative propagation, parthenogenesis, cutting, layering, grafting, stalk, scion, tissue culture, the time required to reproduce varies from organism to organism. We find great variations in the period of reproduction in organisms such as yeast, bacteria, rat, cow, elephants and humans. In sexual reproduction, offspring are produced by the union of male and female gametes, sperm and egg. There are three types of reproduction: vegetative, asexual and sexual reproduction. Let us see the concept map on reproduction. Production of offspring by a single parent without the formation and fusion of gametes is called asexual reproduction. It involves only mitotic cell divisions and meiosis does not occur. Offspring produced by asexual reproduction are identical and exact copies of their parents. Organisms can reproduce asexually in many ways. Fission. Single-celled organisms such as amoeba, paramecium and bacteria reproduce by splitting into two or more offspring. The organism splits into two by binary fission. When more cells are formed, it is called multiple fission. Budding. A growth occurs on the body as a bud, appearing as an identical copy of the parent. The bud separates from the parent after complete growth and survives independently. Example, yeast. Organisms such as Hydra use regenerative cells for reproduction by budding. In Hydra, a bud develops as an outgrowth due to repeated cell division at one specific site. These buds develop into independent individuals after they fully mature and detach from the parent body. Fragmentation. Some organisms can grow from a separate piece of the parent organism. This can be from any part of the body and is called fragmentation. This happens in the simplest organisms such as some flatworms, molds, lichens, spirogyra, etc. Regeneration. Many organisms can give rise to new individual organisms from their body parts. The individuals are cut or broken up into many pieces, and these pieces grow into separate individuals. This is similar to fragmentation, but regeneration is carried out by specialized cells. For example, planaria can be cut into any number of pieces and each piece grows into a complete organism. The specialized cells increase in number and differentiate to become various cell types and tissues. However, regeneration is not same as the reproduction because all organisms do not have this ability. Parthenogenesis. Have you ever seen seedless fruits like watermelons, grapes, etc.? This is a process of reproduction that occurs due to a shift from a sexual to an asexual mode of reproduction and is called parthenogenesis. This process occurs in nature and we have utilized this process for growing organisms of our choice with more desirable characteristics. Would this process involve two parents? This strange kind of reproduction occurs in bees, ants, and wasps. The zygote might develop from fertilized egg or by parthenogenesis. When meiosis occurs, the parthenocarpic zygote develops into a monoploid male and the fertilized one developed into a diploid female. Spore formation. Generally, whitish threads and blackish powdery like substances are observed on rotten fruits, Rhizopus produces hundreds of microscopic reproductive units called spores. Bursting of the sporangium spreads the spores into the air. Most of the fungi like Rhizopus, Mucor, etc. bacteria reproduce by the method of spore formation. Sporophyll. Ferns also produce spores and a fern leaf is called sporophyll. On the lower surface of the leaf occur clusters of dot-like structures called sporangia containing spores. Vegetative propagation. In many plants, the root, stem and leaves develop into new plants under appropriate conditions. Many plants use this mode of reproduction. This involves mitotic division, and daughter plants are genetically similar to the parent plant. Vegetative propagation is used in methods such as layering or grafting to grow plants like sugarcane, roses and grapes for agricultural purposes. Such methods also make possible the propagation of plants such as banana, orange, rose and jasmine that have lost the capacity to produce seeds. Vegetative reproduction may take place through leaves. In bryophyllum, small plants grow at the leaf notches. Aerial weak stems like runners and stolons form adventitious roots on touching the ground. Some examples of propagation by stem are stolons, bulbs, corms, tuber, etc. Vallisneria and strawberry are propagated by stolons. Allium cepa or onion by bulbs. Colocasia by corms and potato by tuber. Roots of dahlia, radish, carrot, etc. grow as new plants. In some plants, the flower buds are modified into globose structures called bulbils. When these fall on the ground, they grow into new plants. Example, agave. Artificial propagation by cutting. Some plants grow individually. When a piece of a parent plant having bud is cut from the existing plant, the lower part of this cutting is buried in moist soil, and after a few days the cut parts have buds that grow as an individual plant by developing roots. Example, rose. Layering. A branch of the plant with at least one node is bent towards the ground and a part of it is covered with moist soil, leaving the tip of the branch exposed above the ground. After some time, new roots develop from the part of the branch buried in the soil. The branch is then cut off from the parent plant and develops roots to become a new plant. Example, nerium. Grafting. The stems of two plants are joined together to grow as a single plant. The plant attached to the soil is called stalk, and the cut stem of another plant without roots is called scion. Both stalk and scion are tied with the help of a twine thread and covered by a polythene cover. Grafting is used to obtain a plant with desirable characteristics. Examples, mango, citrus, apple, rose. The cutting, layering and grafting are the traditional methods for the artificial propagation of plants. For commercial purposes, the modern technology of artificial propagation is used involving tissue culture. In tissue culture, new plants are grown by removing tissue or separating cells from the growing tip of a plant. The cells are then placed in an artificial medium where they divide rapidly to form a small group of cells or callus. The callus is transferred to another medium containing hormones for the growth and differentiation. The plantlets are then placed in the soil so that they can grow into mature plants. Points to remember: